When Fade was blackmailing the Valorant Protocol, she wrote 18 dossiers on the agents in the VP at that time. In the last video, we went through the first 9 dossiers, and if you haven't seen it yet, I'll link it below. In this video, we will go through the last 9 dossiers over the lore and fears that Fade dug up on our agents. This video will cover Breach, Skye, Neon, Jett, Phoenix, Astra, Reyna, Yoru, and KO. Feel free to skip around if there's a particular agent you're interested in. And if you don't know me yet, hello everyone, my name's Illumi, and welcome back to another episode in this Valorant Lore series. It would mean a lot if you would drop a like and subscribe below and comment your favorite Valorant gun skin so far in the game. Thank you so much, it means a lot. The first agent today is our Swedish friend Breach, real name Eric Torsten. The Torsten family was pursued and punished, but not you, Eric. Not the congenital amputee. The judge couldn't see past your disability. They insulted you with piteous lenience, unwanted, unneeded, undeserved. So you struck back. The Stockholm Radianite Reserve, the Gothenburg job, your trip to Salvador. Ignoring you became impossible. Notoriety so high you had to disappear. You showed them you're as much Torsten as the rest. Was the lesson worth it? Knowing you can never go home? Breach is a congenital amputee, which means he was born without arms. If you've noticed in-game, he has artificial weaponized arms that he made himself. Before joining Valorant, Breach was part of a big crime family, and he worked as a mercenary. The whole family worked in crime, and they were very successful until they were caught. Upon being tried in court, his family was punished for their crimes, all except Eric. Fate tells us that the judge took special pity on Breach because of his disability, and so they let him go free. But Breach was no less innocent of these crimes than anyone else. He loathed the fact that someone took pity on him just because he's a congenital amputee. It wasn't a blessing to get a lesser punishment. It was an insult. And this sparked rage in Breach. If the judge wanted to give him leniency for his disability, he was going to show them just how much it wasn't needed. How he was worthy to be treated the same as any other criminal in his family. However, showing the judge the mistake they made and treating him with pity meant that Breach would forever be on the run, hiding from the police. The mercy that was shown to him in the past would not be shown again, so Breach can no longer live a normal life. Fade probes deep with this question that hits at his heart a fear. Was the lesson worth it, knowing you can never go back home? Up next is Skye, real name Kira Foster. You have quite the resume, Kira. The Nimbin project failure, the Blue Mountains miracle, South Coast, Swan Rocks, Kangaroo Valley, on and on. Has the Great Reclaimer lost her way? You fought Kingdom for years. How is Valorant any different? The money, the agenda, just another corporate machine. And when they whistle, you come running, a wild beast brought to heel. Can you remain their dutiful pet, even as the wilds wither and your world burns? As you've probably noticed, Skye has a unique connection to nature. Hailing from Nimbin, Australia, she used to be a farmer who worked to protect nature from those trying to harm it. As a result, she is strongly anti-kingdom, trying to keep them from destroying the land around her. The projects and locations Fade mentions at the beginning are likely kingdom projects and locations she actively fought against. What they were exactly is just speculation at the moment, but we believe they were in some way acts against kingdom. Therefore, Fate calls her the Great Reclaimer, who worked to save nature. Skye eventually joined the Valorant Protocol when Sage showed Skye a rift that had formed in Australia. After still being reluctant to leave her home unprotected to join the VP, Sage tells her that these rifts aren't just in Australia, they're worldwide. Skye eventually gives in and joins, but Fate sees her hesitancy to leave her homeland and pounces on Skye's anxiety and concerns. While she's gone, nature is dying. And what is Skye doing? Is she really making a difference, or is she just a dog that comes to a heel at the ankles of another company with its own agendas? Fade leaves her to question her choices while she goes to the next agent. Neon. Name, Tala Nicole Dimapi Valdez. Control. Your father had it with his mind. Radiant support technologies that make life livable for millions. A path that started with you. Control. Your mother had it with her service, transforming her community for the better through an adherence to justice and law. Control. Your mentors Ling and Xianya have it with their power, living examples of radiant possibility. Control. The gift so many yearn to give you, the one thing you will never have. Everyone in Neon's personal life seems to have a lot of control of their powers. Her father and mother, even Sage, Ling, and Reyna, Xianya. However, Fade cuts deep to the point of anxiety within Neon, who has struggled to control her powers. In fact, Neon's suit that she wears actually has a surge protector on it to help control her electrical output, which her father helped her build. Her father worked at Kingdom to help Radiants understand and control their radiance. It seems that even with this surge protector, Neon's power still changes drastically with her emotions. Take, for example, her ult, where she channels a huge deal of power into being able to shoot electricity while full speed running. And right as she ults, she claims,
"Hi! I'm pissed!"
showing that her anger is fueling the level of electrical output. So much power, but she struggles to fully control it. Despite so many wanting to help her attain it, will she ever have it? After Neon, we've got Jett, hailing from South Korea. Sun Woo-han, always on the move, anything to keep you running. You ran after the restaurant was all but destroyed. A freak storm, they called it. How unusual. You ran after Venice. Your face was everywhere. Enemy of the world, a dangerous radiant. Those who knew you were horrified, disgusted even, ashamed. You claim you were innocent, that it wasn't you. Perhaps you even believe it. But can you really outrun what people think of you? Jett was initially a chef at a restaurant in Seoul. While working there, the restaurant was decimated by a severe windstorm. This is assumed to have been caused by Jett. However, we don't know much of the specifics yet, as it seems it could have potentially been an altercation between Alpha and Omega Jett. Take a look at this versus player card, where Omega Jett is attacking Alpha Jett, who is wearing chef's clothes while holding a kitchen knife. The whole thing was likely blamed on Alpha Jett, since on Alpha Earth, nobody knows that Omega Earth even exists. To add fuel to the flames, in Venice, where we see Alpha Phoenix fighting Omega Jett, they were caught on security cameras during the incident. After the entire city of Venice began floating in the aftermath of their fight, they were both on wanted lists. However, this Jett was an Alpha Jett. Nobody in this world would believe her if she said that. Remember that at this point, Fade doesn't know about Omega Earth either. Regardless, this is a major source of fear for Jett, who has to be closely monitored when she goes out in public because of these two incidents. She knows she's innocent, but the entire world views her as the dangerous radiant that can't be trusted. How will Jett grapple with knowing she's innocent while being unable to explain herself to the rest of the world? Fireboy Phoenix is up. Real name, Jamie Adeyemi from Britain. Jamie Adeyemi, a gifted troublemaker. So much promise, so much talent, stoked into a single flame. But that fire burns hot. You embrace it. You feed it. You revel in its brightness. But what of the kindling? A little boy from Peckham, raised by women constantly fretting for your safety. It didn't stop you then, it doesn't stop you now. So much promise. So many that love you. And you would risk it all just to burn a little brighter. Fade points out immediately what Phoenix's greatest character flaw is: his reckless nature. Several times in cinematics and through voice lines, we see Phoenix recklessly running into battle first with no thought of consequences or teamwork. According to Fade's research, this mentality was true even in his youth. Is Phoenix really willing to be a reckless hothead just for the sake of burning a bit brighter? What about all those that love him? Is he willing to throw that away with his lack of patience that ends up jeopardizing his team? Call sign Astra. Name Effie Adonso. What drew you to the lake, Effie Adonso? What was it you found there, at that crater more than 1,000,000 years old? Not a place for a city girl like you. Perhaps it was the night sky. Looking up, what did you see? Stars, bright and beautiful and distant? No, you saw the emptiness between, the impossible cold. There is so much more of it, isn't there? So much more darkness than light. Effia is actually an astral guardian. This cosmic race is tasked with upholding and defending reality and space-time from threats and collapse. It appears that at this time, Astra is the only astral guardian currently on Earth. The lake that Fade refers to is Lake Basumtwi in Ghana, where Astra is from. This is where Astra got her golden gauntlet that is actually an astral guardian artifact that she wears to help with her duties. Astra has mentioned that she has documents and things left for her by her guardian ancestors, but she's still in the dark about a lot of things regarding her duties. The language they are written in is unique to the Astral Guardians, which she is trying to learn more of. And since she's the only Astral Guardian alive that she knows of, she has yet to find another comrade. The current speculative theory by Sinprol for what Fade senses in her dossier is this loneliness and unrest within Astra as the only Astral Guardian. She is someone who is meant to be like a star, burning bright and shining down light. But when she looks at the night sky to find another like her, all she is met with is the empty coldness of space. Call sign Reyna. Name Zianya Mondragon. Oh, Zianya, you have seen painful things in your time, and you have gone to extremes in response. I have seen your sanctuary, those people, those children, stolen away from Kingdom's microscope into a community where broken things can mend, all built by you. You cherish them, protect them, avenge them. Yet none hold the same place in your heart as Lucia, your own blood, the one life you may not be strong enough to save. Reyna has a strong and extreme character which Fade tells us stems from her past. She has built a sanctuary for those who have been hurt by Kingdom to recover, most likely from experimentation gone wrong. Reyna says in one of her voice lines, "My city needs me. I can't be away for long. Let's end this quickly." Which implies that this sanctuary is much larger than just a small rehabilitation center, but an actual city. This also implies that there's a large number of people in Radiance who have been experimented on by Kingdom. This begins to show us just how much Reyna hates Kingdom and why she stands so strongly against them. However, Fate shows us that there's an even deeper reason. Reyna's own flesh and blood sister, Lucia, is currently critically ill, teetering on the edge of death. We don't know exactly why she is ill, but we do know that the souls that Reyna gathers go directly toward keeping her sister alive. Viper uses the life energy within the souls to keep Lucia alive, but this process is rather inefficient, hence why Reyna needs to gather so many. Reyna's biggest fear is losing her sister, and Fade hits that point hard in her dossier. What will become of Reyna if she can't save the one life she holds dearest? Yoru's dossier is next. Real name, Ryo Kiritani. You leave quite the trail of broken bones, don't you, Ryo? Tokyo, Yokohama, the Ito conglomerate? You are so dedicated to your cause, resolute in crushing your enemies. A loner is what they call you, a title you have worn with pride, even as every love, every friendship buckles under the weight of your ferocity. But I wonder, when you have finally finished the job you set out to do, will you have anyone left to share in its end? Fade dives more into Yoru's personality and character than his lore. The locations Fade mentions at the start are all in Japan, which is where Yoru is from. He's specifically from Tokyo and hates all that Kingdom has done to encroach on the culture there. Fade mentions a trail of bones, but we don't know what this is exactly referring to. After this, Fade explains Yoru's character flaws. He's a prideful loner, not taking much interest in developing lasting relationships. His resolve to crush his enemies has bled over into his personal life. He seems to be unable to tone down his ferocity in other aspects of his life, which has caused him to be abandoned by others who attempted to form relationships with him. We see this within the VP as well, as he shrugs off most attempts made by the others for camaraderie and teamwork. Whatever job it is that Yoru is so desperately working for, will that be enough to fulfill him? When it's over and he has no true relationships, how will he feel? Last, but certainly not least, we have KO. How do you exist? Kingdom has no anti-yield program. It's a rejected project proposal, nothing more. But here you stand, an anti-yield operative. Curious. Regardless of origin, your purpose is clear. Kill Radiance. Yet you fight alongside them. Call them allies. Can you survive that fallacy? Does it strain your code? Isn't each directive you resist a step towards breaking down? I have seen the way you look at Reyna. Even without eyes, the pain is written on your face. Fate tells us that KO's name is an acronym for Kingdom Anti-Yield Operative. But KO shouldn't exist. That was a project that was rejected, and yet he still exists, fighting beside the very Radiance he was programmed to kill. We know that KO is from an alternate timeline in the future where a war has broken out between Radiants and humans. Something has caused the Valorant Protocol to break apart, and they are even fighting against each other. Reyna leads the Radiants and its supporters, while Brimstone leads the humans. KO fights alongside Brimstone, and they were very close. Unfortunately, Brimstone dies in this future, and the entire world falls into complete chaos and annihilation. So, KO decides to prevent this timeline from ever occurring by going back in time and working with the VP to prevent it. However, this is not the end that KO was programmed for. Fade points this out, asking how he is able to do this. Does it strain his code, causing his machinery to slowly break down? Another source of fear and pain within KO is fighting alongside Reyna, knowing what she can do in the future, knowing she has a pivotal role in the death of alternate timeline Brimstone. What will happen if the very future that KO came back to prevent ends up happening anyway? Unable to prevent his best friend from dying. That's what scares KO most. That is all of the dossiers that Fade wrote. There's so much more lore about each of these agents that Fade didn't necessarily tap into, so I can't wait to dive into that in future videos with you all. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!